Good morning, Thomas. Good to hear from you, and happy independence to you and the rest of the team over there, and the entire Nigerians. Happy independence to you, and happy new month to you as well.
Yeah, it's happy independence to everyone out there, and exactly, happy new month. It's so exciting to be alive and to witness the 65th anniversary of Nigeria.
Exactly.
A lot of hopes. And the president actually said...
Did you find the president's speech hopeful?
Yeah, hopeful and reassuring. And one thing that interests me is that the 19th paragraph, the president actually said, is that the 19th paragraph said the accurate measure of our success will not be limited to economic statistics alone. He quite said that, and he said, look, that he is reassuring Nigeria. And that is the kind of statement you will need from a #1 citizen, reassuring the people that, look, we're not there yet, but we can tell you that what we have saved will help us
what
get there.
stands out, although some people might say it's a bit cliche, but he says he acknowledges the pains of Nigerians. Exactly. And for him, he says the worst is over. I truly hope that indeed the worst is over. Okay,
let's give our viewers what we have for you today. Now, good morning, Nigerians, and welcome to FCT Brief. Now, today, the nation marks 65 years since Nigeria attained independence. It is a milestone that comes with deep reflection, renewed hope, and critical questions about the journey so far. In his Independence Day address, President Bola Tinubu reassured citizens on the economy, security, unity, and the promise of a better future. But how much of that address connects with the realities of Nigeria, realities Nigerians face today? President Tinubu's message highlighted ongoing reforms aimed at stabilizing the economy, addressing fuel subsidy removal, foreign exchange challenges, and expanding opportunities for the youth. He also reiterated his administration's commitment to tackling insecurity, strengthening democratic institutions, and fostering national cohesion.
At 65, Nigeria's story remains one of resilience and struggle, of unfulfilled dreams and boundless potential. In his national address, President Tinubu emphasized reforms as a pathway to prosperity. But for many Nigerians grappling with inflation, rising living costs, and insecurity, the question remains, will these words translate into tangible relief? To help us crack through the president's address, we have two Nigerians in the studio. Mike Abu Omeri, he is here with us, and he is the former Director General of the National Orientation Agency. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Also joining us much later will be Dr. Salma Anas. She is the Special Advisor to the President on Health. We're expecting her arrival very shortly. But just before we have her here, Mr. Omeri, the president declared that the worst is over economically, and that is based on the current inflation rate, which we see at 21.1%, and also the GDP growth rate at 4.23%. Is that optimism justified or is premature? And why does it seem quite difficult for Nigerians to really feel the impact of these improvements?
Well, first and foremost, before I proceed, let me congratulate the people of Nasarawa State, where I come from. Today is our 29th anniversary of creation.
Oh, congratulations.
And I was the principal actor in that process, one of the principal actors in that process. And I want to also congratulate Nigerians on the 65th independence anniversary. Nigeria is about 3 years older than me, so you can see we are chasing each other. Well, the statement our president made is supposed to reassure Nigerians, give us hope, so we strive to do even better than we did the previous year, and so forth and so on. But again, we see and feel the atmosphere we see in the things that, ordinary things that we do daily, that our hope, well, I don't want to, because of where I'm coming from. I mean, my background as an orientations person, a national spokesperson, I don't want to say that we are actually feeling so much pain than the words of Mr. President. And the fact that he acknowledges a bit of it gives me some form of, reason to trust. But the reality in Nigeria today, in spite of all of this, is not in the figures, it's in the way we feel, in the way we live, and the things we do. Nigerians have come through so much pain. And today, the president say, I feel your pain and I am going to do better. Well, he acknowledges that it has not been rosy after all. And so we would say it has not been easy. So these figures are, let me confess one thing. Our economy is mostly dissected or analyzed and discussed by politicians, not the economists. We have not seen the economists really dissecting and giving us a path that we should take as ordinary citizens. Even when they speak, where they do, they are also sounding like the politicians. So the politicians are busy analyzing the trends, market trends, the economy, and so forth and so on. So I think something critical needs to happen so that citizens can see the path that the president is talking about in their daily routine, so they can take it and take advantage of it in order to accomplish greater things. What we see today, every day people are waking up to struggle for what to eat. Believe me, and I'm telling you from experience, personal experience, the number of people, especially in the last 5 months, that will wake up with one challenge or the other. People asking, everybody has become a beggar. People who do not would ordinarily not go and ask for 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira, 5,000, are now asking for it.
It's quite interesting, Mr. Omeri, to look at it this other way.
Yes.
That, Nigeria at 65, we had high horse, we had the granite pyramid, we had the oil boom, we had the cocoa and all that. And Nigeria was making so much money. And somehow we missed the opportunity of investing those gains for the future. Now, take a look at the president's speech. He said, the youth, you are the future. And in the 19th paragraph, let me read out one other thing. He said, let me assure you of our administration's determination to ensure that the resources we have saved and the stability we have built are channeled into these critical areas. Now, he has identified critical areas that the security, the economy that would need to fix so that it will translate to food on the table of the ordinary man. Now, the president is saying we will channel them. Now, how do you think that going forward we can best channel these resources saved?
In agreeing with the president,
yes.
I remember in 1986, I was offered an opportunity by a Canadian to go to Canada. I said, no, what am I going to do in Canada? You can imagine the time. I'm not talking about in the 70s. In 1986, I told Mr. Darcy Drury, that I can't go to Canada. There are more opportunities here. I have a country that needed my services. I want to stay here and build it. And I didn't go to Canada. Today, I see even children as young as 10, 15, so long as they can comprehend a few things, are thinking of when they will finish secondary school and start going to Canada or somewhere outside Nigeria. It doesn't speak well of where we are coming from. You know, at least if it was very good in the early 70s, somewhere along the way, like you rightly said, we missed the way. Now, the president wants to invest in security, in economy, and so forth, and other critical sectors. You see, the way we practice our agriculture, it is not meant to supply the food we need on the table. Now, I understand that this government had encouraged farmers to go to farm. They did. And suddenly there is a mass importation of food because they couldn't cope with the production of food, enough food. So they had to bring more, to bring down not just the prices, but to ensure that there is enough to go on the table. Now, what are the critical things that made it difficult for agriculture to thrive within the last 2-3 years? There was rain. There were farm inputs. So what we are doing, we are not subsidizing farm inputs. We need to subsidize our agriculture, whatever is. It is done all over the world. The surplus, and don't forget, in our planning for our agriculture, we are planning for West Africa. Nigeria is 50% of West Africa. So whatever we do, we must plan for that. Otherwise, if it falls, it fails to achieve the purpose in neighboring countries, it will affect Nigeria badly, and vice versa. So we need to, investing in our agriculture, we need to also invest in technology. This is where the youths of Nigeria are thriving once they get out of this country. So why can't we do something to harness that capacity, that potential, and turn Nigeria into a hub, a global hub? And we must not also follow the trend of globalization, because these globalists we have lost our way within it. Let us be ourselves, work towards our goals, define goals, and critically ensure that we, like in security today, I was a national response spokesperson for Nigeria at a point, this security matter. Now, if at that time we had experimented, we have even been approached with solutions, I wonder why by today we are still not implementing the solutions that we need. Most of our communities are in their need of security. Every day in my village, Kiana, in Nasarawa State here, you will hear one story of kidnapping or the other. And the residents say they know the area. Now they want to confront the bandits, but it's a challenge because you cannot confront with bare hands. So we need to map strategically these areas, deploy technology, and fight these bandits to a standstill so that people can go to farm. Don't forget, that aspect is also affecting the agriculture that we need. A lot of people don't go to farm, and then it translates into other pressures, like in a spiral manner. And that is why you feel the pain. I don't know whether you don't, but I know what I get every day from my community, people around asking for one thing or the other just for daily bread.
Mr. Omiri, I'm sure that a lot of Nigerians will agree with you on this matter. There's still a lot to dissect in this speech, but let's take a quick commercial break now. Don't go anywhere. There's more. Stay with us. We're glad to have you back. We're still discussing Nigeria at 65, and we are dissecting the president's speech. And joining the conversation is Dr. Salma Anas. She's a special advisor to the president on health. It's good to hear. It's good to have you here, madam.
Thank you so much, and good
welcome.
morning, Nigerians, and congratulations and happy 65th anniversary independence.
Congratulations to you
Thank
as well.
you.
Well, President Tinubu says that Nigeria has better access to education and healthcare than in 1960. Mm-hmm. Now, another fact is that the challenges we face now in 2025 cannot be compared to that of 1960. What really matters now is, for a lot of Nigerians, they will say, is the approach to governance. Is it better?
Yes, thank you so much. Just like the president rightly mentioned, Nigeria has made tremendous progress from 1960, pre-colonial time, and then from 1960 till today, especially in the health sector development. So one can comfortably say that we've made progress in the area of governance of the health sector, in the legislative areas, and also programmatic, that is in terms of delivery of healthcare services. If you recall, the president mentioned around the issues of education, where we have moved from 2 universities in Nigeria. So that also applies to our university teaching hospitals. From 2 university teaching hospitals, 65 years today, we have over almost 100 university tertiary institutions spread across the country. Teaching hospitals, federal medical centers, and also tertiary institutions in the areas of specific specialties like orthopedic and neurosurgical, and also as well as fistula hospitals. So this is progress. And in terms of also medical schools, we have grossly expanded in having medical schools. So the same as we expanded the tertiary institutions, it also applies to the medical institutions that we have that train not just medical doctors, but also nurses, midwives, community health extension workers. We've also diversified beyond the core technical areas of training. Pharmaceuticals, as well as even biomedical engineering. Today we have them institutionalized within our institutions of training. So one can comfortably say that it's true, Nigerians has made a lot of progress. And in terms of impact on health, we've also made progress, but we are not yet where we want to be. We want to see that the journey is still on in terms of our capabilities to be able to deliver quality healthcare services to all Nigerians in an equitable manner wherever you live. And there have been a lot of efforts, especially in the last few years, from the previous administration till this. We've continued to expand, access to services. As he mentioned in his speech, he did mention that the focus also on people at the lower level. people at the lower level, people at the grassroots level. And you have seen in the last 2 years, under the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have renewed hope agenda, and the renewed hope agenda had focused most importantly on vulnerable people. And these are people that cannot afford to purchase healthcare services. These are people that are poor of the poorest, men and women. There are also women of reproductive age group, children under 5 years, people with disabilities, and also the elderly people. Okay. So the focus has been on them, and the only platform we can guarantee access to services to them is through the primary health care of health facilities at the local government level, at community levels.
Nice that you just talked about the primary health care. I wanted to ask you that because
will be utilized to strengthen primary health care facilities. And we have 3 pathways: through the Primary Healthcare Development Agency, directly going to the primary healthcare facilities, and then through the National Healthcare Authority now. And the other pathway was through the emergency. So this is operational. But what we did differently under this administration is to increase the funding. You know, the president increased the funding and what we call the Vulnerable Group Fund. And this was massively increased. So instead of targeting 1 primary health care per ward in the local government, we have now doubled the efforts. We want to ensure that 2 primary health care facilities are functional within the next the few years that we have to complete this administration, the first phase of this administration. So this is currently ongoing, but this is not a sole responsibility of the federal government alone, and that was why the pact was also signed by the state government massively to operationalization of the primary health care facilities, empowerment of communities to take responsibilities as well, and also the national health insurance coverage. So President promised Nigerians during pre-election that he's going to expand the insurance coverage, at least to meet 50 million vulnerable Nigerians. And I'm glad to mention that that has also been expanded. And we've signed a pact with the state governors also. They are also to institute and ensure that they have a contributory health insurance scheme at the subnational level. Right. And I can comfortably say that all states of the Federation today have a state-owned contributory health insurance scheme. But they are all at different levels of performance.
But we really need to take this quick commercial break. We'll still come back to you. Don't go anywhere. We'll have more. Grab your coffee. We'll be right back.
Progress no dey happen just like that. It dey come from support when you need am.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much.
Na money point oh.
Money point, thank you.
Customer, na transfer abi? Confirm.
Bro, na transfer.
Na money point oga. Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land as sure banker. Progress na small wind where they carry person go far.
No worry, yourself go make am. Mo go buy ball.
Victor, even you they use money point?
Of course now, they use money point.
Confirm.
Money point, made for your progress.
In the beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodimma's leadership has turned manifestos into reality, transformations that feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace, and in Imo, it's not left to chance. From land to sky to river deep, guardians are watching, protecting dreams and opportunity. At Orashi's quiet shore, hydropower is rising, set to energize a growing economy. The change is visible. New roads emerge, industry hums, communities come alive. At the center, a digital revolution. 500,000 young minds trained each year to build the future. As Orashi rises, so does Imo and the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
Thank you for staying with us. Now we'll continue our conversation, and we still have with us in our studio the two lovely guests helping us to dissect President Tinubu's Independence Day speech. Now, Mr. Omeri, you're the former Director General of the National Orientation Agency. Now, I'd like you to orientate us this morning. 65 years after independence, has Nigeria truly lived up to the vision of our founding fathers as mentioned by President Tinubu, or are we still struggling to define our identity?
Well, it's a mixed bag. But again, we live in a country that has so much in terms of knowledge, in terms of talent, in terms of skills, in terms of possibilities. Therefore, we must not despair. Instead, we should redouble the effort, redouble the conviction, the commitment, and, towards attaining our, even if it means personal goals, let us do them. Because if at any space, or in any point in time, people strive to clean their little corners, we will end up with a cleaner general environment. But where we give up, where we sit down and not do ours, expect someone else to do his and ours at the same time, it becomes a burden of unaccomplished vision or ambition. So Nigeria is a space that offers possibilities. We are not a country of potentials. We have passed that stage. We had potentials, so we had independence. Yeah. Now we are a country of possibilities where most of the fortune that you see, people are coming to us to look for resources. They know we have it. Nigeria is over $500 billion economy. There's so many things that you can do to translate into fortunes. But in rebuilding our institutions, like we have, let us ensure quality drives them, so that when we go to those institutions, we get the quality we need in order to guarantee our survival as a nation. The President is doing a lot in health sector, agriculture. She has reeled out the statistics. You see, we will not be helping the President in serving in governance if we do not tell him what the reality that we face as individuals. So if you go to these primary health centers and the lofty national health plan that is being implemented by the government, you still see some gaps, and that is why we're not able to retain the quality of personnel required even at that primary level. They live for greener pasture. Every one of them is looking for how to live. Yes, there is expansion in the healthcare sector. Apart from government, services, the hospitals, general hospitals, primary healthcare, and so forth and so on, individuals, Nigerians and foreigners have invested in that sector. So there's expansion, but at what cost?
Okay. When the President says we are racing against time, we must build the roads we need, repair the ones that have become decrepit, and also says that I'm pleased to report that we have finally turned the corner. What kind of a burden does it place on the leaders?
Well, essentially they have to deliver, because the number one person in this country has made a promise. We have turned the corner. We should look towards better days. We will start now. That's what I get from that statement. So we give him the time he needs, and let's see what this corner, whether the corner will not have further corners along the way. Nigerians, in Nigeria, there are lots of challenges: economy, physical, social, and so forth and so on, and most of all, security. The moment we begin to see intervention, critical intervention in those areas affecting our livelihood, daily living, we know that the corner is truly, we have turned the corner and we're approaching. But it's not the task of the President alone. We all have a responsibility to doing what we need to do. So at the level of orientation, I don't want to talk about orientation because I have a way of communicating with my people there. But we need to get the people organized in our communities to understand and to buy in and to join with the President to do the right things. in our communities, the security challenge that has been taken to us, we can have community-driven, partnership with all the structures and institutions of providing security, so that we work together to create a seamless security administration for our nation.
All right. Dr. Salma, one thing the president did in his speech was to acknowledge the pains of Nigerians, which he doesn't ever forget. Anytime he gets to speak to Nigerians, he always acknowledges that pain. And the president's central message was hope that the worst is over. Now, the big question on the lips of every Nigerian at this moment is, when indeed are we going to find some sort of relief from this impact of these economic reforms?
Yes, so thank you. Let me focus more on the health sector reforms. In the health sector reforms, we are beginning to see relief across the whole country at all levels of the healthcare delivery, tertiary, secondary, and the primary healthcare level. With the catalytic funding from the Basic Healthcare Fund, Nigerians are now able to access basic healthcare services within 30 kilometers walk to the next primary healthcare facilities. We're also beginning to see a boost, in healthcare financing. If you looked at from 2022-23, when the president assumed office, the budgetary allocation for health has not reduced despite the economic crisis. We have been on the increase. There have been a modest increase to the budgetary allocation. And what we have done also is to fully institutionalize accountability measures and also to mobilize additional resources. And it is the same period also we are witnessing dwindling resources, especially donor resources, which in the past they have heavily funded the health sector. So Nigeria is beginning to become more self-reliant in the delivery of healthcare, and also beginning to mobilize more additional in-country resources across board. We are beginning to see contribution and donations from some of our philanthropists in Nigeria, and also communities are also driving a lot of efforts at that level. So these are some of the relief that we are seeing. And then if you look at also at the level of the tertiary institutions, access to cancer care used to be very difficult in Nigeria and challenging. Most Nigerians that can afford travel abroad. So one area that we have made a remarkable progress is reversing medical tourism. And one area that we have really recorded a lot of success is around the cancer oncology care. Today, Nigerians have deployed a lot of resources, especially within our tertiary institutions, across all the 6 geopolitical zones where you can have access to cancer diagnostics and also cancer therapy. And we've deployed also state-of-the-art medical equipment. Then in addition to cancer, another area also that has been quite worrisome to Nigerians, especially where they travel abroad, because we try to look at what were the drivers of Nigerians traveling abroad and how do we reverse medical tourism. And I can tell you, as part of what we did is strengthening our partnership with private sector. And private sector are currently doing a lot. We've signed a lot of MOUs with international organizations, and also in-country private sectors are doing a lot. And I can give example of some of them where we have even patients accessing services from abroad in Nigeria because it's cheaper. So this is an area that we have put in a lot of efforts to reverse medical tourism. But another very important key area, I think that we've done so much in the last 2 years, is local manufacture of medical products, such as including vaccines production in Nigeria, because we cannot continue to rely on importation of medical supplies, medical equipment, and that. So His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has passed an executive order in the last 2 years and removed taxation on importation of medical supplies and equipment, so as to attract foreign manufacturers to come to Nigeria to invest. And this is already happening in Nigeria, and also to encourage local manufacturers. And from that was where he established the presidential unlocking, the presidential value chain. And we are working assiduously under that platform to see that Nigerians produce what we need in terms of drugs, in terms of vaccines, in terms of even assembly of basic medical equipment and active pharmaceutical ingredients. This is already happening in the country. And maybe we need to talk more about it. And this is mostly driven by our private sector within the health industry.
Okay, quite laudable, those achievements. Doctor, I want to come to you with this other thought. Nigeria is Nigeria because it has 36 states and has the local government. I'd like us to speak about these states, the local government, and also recently there was the creation of 6 regional development commissions. Now, how can these various institutions accelerate the rate, the level of development in Nigeria, so that the corner we have turned that the president is talking about, the savings can be properly channeled, allocations to states have increased. How can it be properly channeled so that when we're at 66, the story will be different?
Well, it is true. And like you rightly observed, we have the various structures of government. If they are doing better, we wouldn't be needing these regional development organizations. But now that we have them, and the president promised they'll be fully funded, they will identify critical areas of need and begin to implement. To perhaps, if there is competition from some institutions like that, the others will pick up. Well, with the availability of resources in the local government areas, the president has spoken about roads. I went home to Kiana the other day, and I saw that the chairman of the local government is trying to do a new road. When I saw that, I said, who is doing? They say, the chairman. So it means that kind of orientation would eventually sink into the heads of people who are administering the funds at that level. And then they should, together with the communities, identify critical areas of need and begin to implement. Because gone are the days when we think we know all, we know it all. Let us work with the communities. They have solutions as well. And we have gone to campaign to ask for their votes and so forth and say, we will do this, we will do this. Have we also sat down to hear what they really want? So right, in the two-way traffic, we can achieve something.
Speaking of two-way traffic, President Tinubu encouraged Nigerians to produce, innovate, pay taxes, and patronize made in Nigeria goods. Now, 2 things stand out for me here: paying of taxes and patronizing made in Nigeria goods. We all know the mentality behind that when it comes to Nigerians. How would you now say the government should encourage Nigerians to imbibe this mentality of paying their taxes, which we are going to start effectively from next year, and also patronizing made in Nigeria goods?
The gradual implementation of the payment of taxes is we are paying taxes now, well, on some things that are described as luxury goods. We pay taxes. Is whether at the community level people willingly go to pay their taxes, because if you have a right, you have a duty. Yeah. So paying of taxes is is a duty, so that you can get the right, you can demand for the right that is obviously yours. And if you don't produce, you can't pay tax. So we must prepare the environment for people to engage in their ordinary types of businesses in order to earn and pay the tax. Secondly, on the issue of made in Nigeria goods, let us make use of this October, 1st October. Not just 1st October, let's turn the whole of October into a celebration of Nigeria, its goods, its services, its culture, its history. So can we turn it to Nigeria History Month? We know that in this period, we have cross exchanges, of cultures. People can go elsewhere, like a national trade fair and exhibition of culture, values, trade, tradition, all sorts. So we begin to, showcase the things that are good, the things that are made by Nigerians, and then patronize them. We are not only, in doing so, we are not only showcasing those talents and assets, we are also injecting funds into the local economy, because we will be buying the things that we produce in our ordinary places.
Dr. Johnson, a few words from you. What would you like to say about to the Nigerian women and the youth? Just in about 1 minute.
So yes, Nigeria is a country that is still struggling to get out of the high maternal mortality, that is death of women as a result of pregnancy, childbirth, and post-delivery. So what we want to say is that we encourage them to uptake services that are available, right from pre-pregnancy, pregnancy, and post-pregnancy. And the young people also, we need to focus on health education, because with targeting young people at a very early age will make a huge difference in terms of our disease burden in Nigeria. So currently under this administration, we are putting in a lot of efforts to see that young people are well informed, they are educated, and they also serve as champions of health, at all levels up to the lowest level. So there is a project we are currently embarking upon to enlighten young people, to get them on board in collaboration with the subnational governors. So to adopt healthy lifestyle, and this is the best way so that we can reduce cost and then the burden on the healthcare system. So, and I call upon everybody, both young and old, to join this campaign. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Anas Salma, it's a pleasure speaking with you this morning. Thank you so much for your insights on the program. Also, Mr. Agbo Umeri, it's a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for the orientation this morning. And happy independence to both of you.
Happy
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's where we'll leave our conversation this morning. We're glad that you could be a part of it. We'll now hand you over to Lagos, where Etoma and the rest of the team are standing by to continue with the rest of the show.